So why will a narcissist become nice all of a sudden? What in the world does that mean? We're going to be talking about that in this video. Hey, I'm Dr. Melissa, trauma expert, top doctor, and in this video and on this channel, I help you identify the narcissists in your life, identify the impact their behavior has on you, and then turn that trauma and that chaos into gold rising and becoming stronger and more powerful than ever before. If that sounds like exactly what you need, click subscribe, click the notification bell, and stay tuned. So you know how it is. You've been through this pattern before. The narcissist is devaluing you, putting you down, making you feel less than. And then all of a sudden, they're nice to you for no apparent or obvious reason. And you're left scratching your head like, what in the world does this mean? Narcissist relationships go through 3 phases: the love bombing phase, the devaluation phase, the discard phase. And even though the love bombing phase always comes first, the others are not sequential. You move back and forth, from a discard back to love bombing to devaluing. You can be in 2 stages at once, devaluing and discarding. There's a lot of flux and flow to a relationship with a narcissist. This flux, this phase change can be really confusing. For example, a narcissist can devalue you by planting insecurities while they are love bombing you. Susan will be at my work party. I used to be so in love with her, but I love you so much more. Or maybe she didn't call you back because you were too direct the last time you spoke. I'm the only one who can really see who you are. Or it's so impressive that you're confident enough to host a party when your house is not party ready. I could never do that. These comments make you feel uneasy, make you feel off. It's like the typical backhanded compliment. The comment that's made to make you feel insecure and uneasy in your relationship. Your partner is going to run into an ex-girlfriend or ex-boyfriend. Even though you're in the love bombing phase, they are already devaluing you. And the narcissist will quite certainly devalue you while they are discarding you. Saying something like, "It's your fault this relationship didn't work. I was never good enough for you." Using blaming and projection rather than taking responsibility. Or, "I can't believe you think you need a lawyer. You're the one that's not trustworthy." Using gaslighting and projection. Or, "You are so controlling. No one will ever want to be with you." Using blaming, projection, and gaslighting all in one. If an overt narcissist is nice after the discard, it's because they want something. Covert or vulnerable narcissists, though, are altogether different. The covert or vulnerable narcissist developed disordered thinking, disordered way of being as a way of walling off the tremendous amount of internal shame they had about who they are. Then they created this made-up reality, this movie quality version of reality where their idealized self is the star. This is why so many of the things they say are lies. They are playing a role in their made-up version of reality. And they will play the role of the hero and the victim at the same time. And every circumstance or situation or interaction is going to support this image of being the hero and the victim. Since childhood, they have engaged the support of flying monkeys to come in as the supporting characters, the supporting cast in this made-up version of reality. They have gaslit themselves to the point that they believe the false reality is actually true. Because the covert narcissist really wants that false reality to be true. They want everything in their life to line up, saying that their idealized self, this person they wish to be, is real. They hope that you are going to come in as their most loyal and devoted supporter, as their leading lady or leading man in this story. They want you in the role of top flying monkey. And if you stay in that role as their greatest supporter, their greatest fan, they're not likely to ever leave you. The trouble is, they torture you to the point that you don't know what's real anymore. You don't know who you are anymore. And it makes it impossible for you to continue to play that role. To do so, you'd have to completely abandon yourself. So what do you do instead? You call out their lies. You call out their blaming, their projection, their deflection, their denial. You point out their lack of self-responsibility. You call out their sabotage, their ways of hurting you. You expect them to behave like an adult partner, and yet they're behaving worse than having another child. You call them out and their mask slips. Now they are terrified. They are absolutely terrified that you are going to expose who they really are to the world. They're terrified that person that they fear they are is real, and that the idealized self is not. They can't believe that you would betray them in this way. They can't believe that you would think that they are a liar, or that they don't take responsibility, or that they don't act like an adult partner. They cannot believe you would say these things about them. Suddenly, you are the enemy. You are the one who threatens their persona, their entire made-up version of reality. You are an enemy. You are a threat that needs to be eliminated. Now their hatred, their rage, their fury comes out. They cannot believe this is who you are. They tell you that something is wrong with you. They say you must have never loved them in the first place. They feel like you used them all these years. They turn to their flying monkey supporter friends. They cry on their shoulders, boo-hoo-hoo. Isn't it so shocking that she turned out to be so horrible? Or isn't it terrible that he treated me so cruelly? They don't take any responsibility for their situation or their own actions. They make it all about you. And the flying monkeys just eat this up. They have been trained to believe them for longer than you could possibly imagine. So imagine how shocking it is when all of a sudden they're nice to you. Maybe they've done a smear campaign for years. Maybe they have said the most heinous, reprehensible things about you. And now they're being nice and you're trying to make sense of it. What does it mean? It means that fear, that terror has subsided. And with it, the hatred and the rage has kind of abated as well. When they were in that fear and that terror, their logical thinking brain was completely turned off, limbic system fully activated. They probably don't even remember much of what they said, if at all. But now the fear and the terror has subsided. Maybe they've found a new source of narcissistic supply. Maybe they're getting adequate narcissistic supply from the support of all of their flying monkeys. Their flying monkeys have swooped in to help them preserve their version of reality. Together, they've all discredited you, devalued you, made you seem crazy. And now the narcissist is feeling like, oh, I'm going to survive this one. Things are okay again. Now you're no longer the enemy. Now the things that they knew and loved about you in the first place, maybe you gave great advice. Maybe you were a really good listener. Maybe you had wisdom and insight into their family that they really appreciated. Now they want you in the role of a friend or a trusted advisor. And even though the relationship has changed and they know that it can never go back to a romantic one, the love bombing process starts all over again. Because remember, love bombing does not require one to fall in love. It's not all roses and candy and expensive jewelry. Love bombing is about creating the lens for how you see the narcissist and their world. When they're nice to you, they are love bombing you again to come into relationship in a different capacity. This is the love bombing phase of friendship, and you are the target. It's important in a scenario like this to have your eyes open, to have your eyes wide open. If you understand what I'm saying, I want you to type eyes wide open in the comments. If this video has been helpful to you, please like it. Click subscribe, click the notification bell, share this video with someone you know who needs this message or someone you want to understand what it is that you went through. And if you know you are ready to take this journey farther, to break free of the narcissistic abuse and attracting narcissists once and for all, join me at narclesslife.com. I'm Dr. Melissa, and I'll see you in the next video.